What's going on, Joel?
Everybody's good. Everybody's good. I think we can hear everybody. We see everybody. How are things? Everybody still thawed out from the mess that we've had this week?
Yeah, finally. It's been an interesting weekend experience from our earlier chats and some unique driving strategy after events last week. I can tell you that story.
Let's get into this. Let's chop it up a little bit. So this is Enter the Cigar. We're calling this episode 3. This is our good friend Joel Reeser, who's a representative of the Black Label Company and all things that are Black Label Trading Company. We don't need to talk much about cigars, but they do have some amazingly good cigars, and we're very happy to have those around. So we like smoking cigars, apparently. Anyways, basically, in case you haven't seen the other ones, it's basically just a couple hours of digging around and chatting with people. So it's pretty free form and pretty cool. So I guess we could get this thing started. You said you're traveling this week. You got some traveling suggestions for people or new strategies as far as driving in the road?
No, I think I don't know what it is with you guys today. First of all, how bad did y'all actually get the winter weather? Was it pretty crazy up there?
We got like 3 inches of snow, but it was down into like the negatives.
Negative 15
yeah,
plus.
We had the -2, -3, and we actually ended up probably with about a foot. But if you can believe it, like that was yesterday and the day before, it's damn near melted today. It's probably like 58, 60.
I pulled in this afternoon. I was like, dude, my driveway's dry.
Yeah, it's nuts, man. Like 2 days ago, I'll be 40 this year. So my lower back is still grieving from like digging out the driveway and everything. But hey, man, we've made it. I had a event at a stag last night. But the crazy thing was last Saturday, just kind of perspective, I had an event in Monroe. And I was actually looking forward to a good friend of mine down there, Adam McConnell, a lot of the, Black Sheep, everybody knows him. We were going to get some food the next day, just relax, chill. I got a call. Actually, it was like a combination of my mom, Ben Holt, and a guy that I really trust, Sammy. Not that I don't trust the other two, but Sammy is a customer locally here at Omerta and a good friend, helped me build my gaming PC. But he actually works for, like, loosely, kind of like his off time, the Channel 9, like he chases storms and does the weather. So he's like, what time's your event over? And I said, 8. And he goes, when's the last time you drove at night? And I was like, it's been a minute, dude. And long story short, at 4:30 in the morning, I was back home with about 20 minutes into the snow. It was already coming down, but kind of just like locked down for a week. But dude, I gotta be honest, like I got friends, Texas streamers, cats I know that, I mean, even in Austin, I don't know what the final accumulation was, but like, it's amazing that like, it didn't matter where you were, you could be downtown, you could be up in, Cedar Park, like $1 million homes, and like everybody's power was out, lights were out and everything, because they're just not used to it. So, like I felt bad because, like y'all in Wichita, I'm in more home city than anybody that doesn't know. Like, we're used to it. I think we lost power for a grand total of 3 hours one day, and to be frank, like I was asleep. Like it was probably like 6 in the morning when that happened. So I just, I'm one of the guys on Cowboys radio. Cowboys fan, I apologize. We suck. It is what it is. But he called it electricity guilt. I don't know how that. So like we felt bad about it, but my heart goes out to everybody down there. It's been a mess, dude. It's still a mess. I think there's people in Houston area still without power and water that I know of. So unique.
Yeah, they weren't prepared.
Yeah,
no. They weren't prepared.
My business partner down in Dallas, he lost power on Monday night at 4 a.m. and didn't get it back on until 6 p.m. because ERCOT screwed up. And when they shut him down to do a rolling blackout, they fried their system to bring it back online. So they had to wait until it got warm enough to go out there and replace stuff.
ERCOT, I used to live in Austin for 3.5 years, so we were well familiar with them. I was in an apartment at the time when I was kind of doing some screenwriting, and I think I was still working Progressive Insurance. But I remember, like, we had it was about I don't know what the power is up there, but like $300 in the summertime or whatever. Like, that's not uncommon. But people were saying, I had a friend of mine that posted a bill today. They're talking about people that are paying like $300 for the heating bill, for this, may end up having to pay $758 to eat this.
Yeah.
Like, dude, you're gonna see so many people. You thought it was crazy a couple weeks ago when we had the whole, the GameStop, Dogecoin, and all that song and dance. Dude, you want to see feet held to the fire? Have the hell with it. Let's say 3 million Texans, withhold their bill for a month. That keeps folks honest. We'll see what happens. But it's insane, dude. It's just insane. I wish these people could be held accountable.
We had a gas when ERCOT shut down in Texas. They killed most of the wellheads in 3 of the shale regions down there, which screwed up Oklahoma and parts of Kansas. So they were buying it on spot at Henry Hub, and at one time it hit $918 per metric million BTUs of natural gas. So to wrap that up quickly, there's companies that shut down because they knew their gas bill was going to be $2 or $3 million, and normally it's $100,000 gas bill. Yeah, it's like, so people are freaking out here because they don't know what their gas bills are going to be.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, man, it's going to get weird.
Yeah,
it's going to get real weird.
It's interesting too, because like, I try to stay off. We're on social media obviously for the business and talking to friends and everything, but I try to stay out of the BS. I guess that'd be the nice way to say it. Just because I don't care. I don't want to have an argument with somebody that's uninformed. Like, it's why I get along so well, I think, because he can talk about it. But the fact of the matter is, like, I don't like, what was it, once every 10 years or some ridiculous number where something like that happens down there. But like in Oklahoma, we have, we've been great supporters of like, coal, natural gas, but we have like, dude, anybody that drives up north will see like wind turbines. And they, I assume out west might be a little different, but they were winterized and everything. So like, they didn't really cut the corners here that I know of. But again, I don't know, man. Maybe that could be hopefully a solution where they just get that fixed so it doesn't happen again. Or I assume some people will probably disappear in positions of power. Be the nice way to say that. But yeah, we'll see what happens, I guess. Like I said, my heart goes out to everybody down there, man. It's, who the hell would have thought, with everything we already had to deal with 2020, COVID-19, that we'd see the winters from hell in the great Midwest, dude. It's
February was basically a hold my beer moment.
Oh, yeah, man. You see the meetings where people are like, can we get a mulligan and go ahead and roll into 2022?
Did you learn any, or did you enact any driving skills that you want to share with anybody? Did you create a new method for driving through the evening? Just use the old tried and trues.
Bro, this is going to be the ultimate, like, of our great industry. Dude, I got to be 100% honest with you. So I left there at 8, and I have a Civic, all right? I don't have, you look at, like, some of our great territory reps that rock the trucks and the SUVs and everything. People are like, what, I have a Civic? Because I get good gas mileage and I can get where I need to get, most of the time you throw your bag in there, laptop, your travel cigar, your car stock, everything, and whatever else, water and your event stuff and all that. But realistically, like, I hadn't really never had to test the tires on the Civic in the poor weather, rain or whatever. It ended up working out pretty well. But I ended up getting like a massive cup of coffee before I left. Not shockingly, I'm drinking one now. And I threw on one episode. I always think it's a running joke. I always bank him for the road. But I had really one episode of Coop. And, Coop's like 3.5-hour show. Great episode. I don't even know who the guest was. It was a really good one. I liked. But and then I had either Bear's show or Abe's show. It literally got me home. Like, I was just so into the show. Like, when Coops rolled off, I'm like, oh my God, I'm in McKinney, and like, then I threw the show on, and before I know it, I'm like, oh, okay, it's 5 a.m, let's roll. 4:30, whatever it was, I'm home. So that is one great thing, man. It's I'll listen to like other podcasts, a ton of music and stuff on the road. It definitely was something where I needed to like keep my mind occupied, but yeah, I mean, it was fine, man. Like, for the most part, outside that last 30 minutes was unique to say the
least.
Always. The driving in the poor weather, don't. Stay home, relax.
Yeah.
Nailed it. See folks the next week. I'm sure we'll be glad to catch up when I do Dallas, Fort Worth, and all that. I end up to cut a few days off the route. But I'll just make it up here and like go see everybody here in a week or so, a couple of weeks, I should say.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, so I guess there's a lot of things that are happening in the industry as we know it right now. But is there something that stuck out for you that's kind of a little known secret that's happening right now? Something that you've heard or seen that you want to talk about for a second?
I mean, obviously we got the work at and everything, but to be perfectly frank, it's been a really unique, I guess, kind of a wait and see moment on a few things. Obviously the trade show situation. I mean, we could take those bets, and we've all talked about it. We kind of know where we're at. I mean, dude, let's be honest. We're in damn near March. We'll see. We love it. It's a great time, but I mean, as far as unique things, like everybody's always introducing, we got a great catalog of new things coming out, hyena end of the month. So, and that's always the fun stuff. But I mean, if you want to talk about like one really cool thing as far as the industry goes, like dude, it's great to see, I haven't watched it yet because I was doing that event at Stag last night, but I mean, dude, like Michael Herklotz is back in the industry, It's phenomenal, man. How about tipping the coffee for Mike, man? What a phenomenal, great ambassador, legend in our industry. That's just like, I mean, my God, my good friend, Mr. Danny Vasquez down there coming back. Dude, it's like, what did I say? What's old is new again, brother? Some of the great veterans, Danny's coming back with his Baraco and everything. So I just think it's going to be, hopefully we don't have a repeat of 2020. Obviously the winter storm's already getting us there. We got new strands of COVID. But I mean, we've got some real incredibly unique things coming on over the next couple of months. I'm excited about. Love it. Company's great. And just for friends in the industry, man, it's sort of a wonderful time to get back at it. But again, and there's the great unknown, So
right.
That's a long question, brother. But that's the
short answer. I'm pumped about having Michael back. That's for sure. I was very concerned when all that stuff went down. It was a topic of conversation for probably a whole year about what was going to happen, where he was going to end up, and I don't know if anybody had that bet going, but it's a good one. I'm glad to see that he's back and at it. No, I just saw a thing about the new Avo looks really good, man. I don't know if you saw that, but that new Avo cigar, the new. I think it's gonna come out next month, or maybe it's May, but it's the new improvisation one that they're coming out with. It's looking awesome.
I remember the last one of those I had was the and again, it's interesting, man. Like, we often joke about this. Like when I used to manage Omerta, man, we smoked everything, and I still obviously I can tell you the ins and outs of everything with the job. I try to still smoke quite a bit, that. But damn, dude, like the last improv I want to say I had was the one when I was still managing Omerta that came in the giant box. I want to say it's like the LEO 5, if that sounds familiar.
The one that looked like the record player?
No.
The five set.
Box.
Yeah, the 5 set of Robusto.
Yeah, that's the box. And it was, I want to say it was Robusto, but delicious. I mean, Avo, you can always expect Avo to do something fantastic. But yeah, man, I'm excited to see that, man. Again, that's a classic brand, and hopefully that does well. Hopefully you guys have some great success with that.
Yeah, I think it'll be a good one. Well, anyway, so speaking of retail, I know you worked for Omerta for a while. Where else did you work at, man?
Oh my God!
Because you did retail a couple of spots, didn't you?
Yeah, my first retail job. My mom was 20 years in the Navy. I actually worked at the military clothing sales store in Fort Meade. I was born in Norman for like 6 months, but I really say that like Baltimore area is my hometown because that's really kind of where I grew up with a couple tours. But did that. I worked at, like I mentioned earlier, Progressive Insurance. I spent I had a cup of coffee, if you will. I worked for Best Buy for a few years as a computer sales manager. That was a pretty easy gig with some good folks. And then hell, I think the first job I was a ice cream server at a place called Friendly's Restaurant. I don't even know if that's...
Oh, man. Have I got a story about Friendly's?
Yeah, those were some good... It kind of went downhill, but... Yeah, and then ended up wanting... when the former manager of Omerta, and, everybody knows a great Clyde Percy, too. Clyde was at the top of the Edmond now. But they initially wanted me to just work Saturdays, and then Saturday became full-time became the buying the sales manager, sales manager, because Jarrett did a heck of a job. And then that game of a repping. So that's the short version of the story. There was some screenwriting in the midst there. Like we did all sorts of things, man.
All right, so we got to back it up, man, because I was at a Friendly's one time. One of my buddies is not in the industry anymore, but is a great guy. And my old business partner Ryan and I were at Friendly's one time, out near Baltimore actually. And they got this peanut butter thing, and I can't remember what it's called, but it's like a triple peanut butter chocolate thing. You know what I'm talking about?
Ice cream.
Yes.
Dude, I can't even believe I remember this. I haven't worked there in 20 years, but we had a preacher, a local preacher. He was a real nice guy, all to the earth, that came to get that, and the damn thing was called the Jim Dandy. I don't even know how I remember that, but I remember the local preacher coming in. He would get one of those like after his service or whatever every Sunday. And I just remember
peanut butter and everything. Man,
because the peanut butter was like the hardest thing to set up. Like chocolate sauce, marshmallows, strawberry, caramel, whatever.
Yeah, you get all crazy with it. Right. All right, so we're standing in Friendly's, and we're like, all right, everything is cool, man. Like we're gonna do this Friendly's thing. My buddy that was the rep that was with us was like, dude, you guys got to check this out. And we walk in there, and as soon as we walk in there, like right behind us, there's like these 5 girls that are all like late teens, early 20s, and the rep that was with us was like, man, all right. And about that time, the kid that was working at the counter was just like 15, 16 years old. His jaw drops, and he's just looking at these girls, man. He's just like, oh. And so we're like, look, we don't know what we want. Like, I haven't been to a Friendly's in 15 years, man. And so I'm like, I step aside. Obviously, the rep that took us over there was like, that's what you want. You want this peanut butter thing. And Ryan's like, I'm getting one of the peanut butter things. But I'm like, I don't know what I want. Give me a minute, right? So we step aside. This kid helps the girls. They go and sit down. And the girls leave. And this kid is like falling over the counter like, oh, my God, oh, my God. So the rep who's with me is like, look, man, what's the problem? And he's like, man, those girls go to my school. I really like that one. I'm like, he's like, well, do you know her? And he's like, yeah, man, I've known her since kindergarten. He's like, so what's the problem? Is she dating somebody that beat you up or something? He's like, no, man, I just don't think I don't think that she'd give me the time of day because she's so pretty and look at me. And so my buddy, this rep, he walks over. He says, hold on a minute. And he goes over and he's like, yo, what's up? My dude back there is like, thinks you're cute. What do you think? And she's like, well, I think he's okay. I mean, I've known him for a long time. He seems all right. He's like, look, I don't know if y'all got prom or something going on, but y'all need to go out, have a Friendly's or something. I don't know. Just do something. And this girl's like, well, all right. I mean, sure. I mean, yeah, here, give him my number. So she hands him her number to give to that kid. That kid comes over and is like, what just happened? And he's like, man, I got you a phone number. And I need to get this ice cream. So hook up this ice cream. So the kid hooks up the ice cream, and then he throws him $20 extra for a tip. And he's like, make sure you take her somewhere nice, you know? And this kid, like, breaks out in tears in the middle of Friendly's at, like, 8 o'clock at night on a Saturday night. Just, like, can't believe. He's like, this is the best day ever. I came to work today thinking I was going to quit. And here I am. Like, I got a date with a girl. Like, and I got $20 extra. Like, I didn't think I was going to have. That was my only Friendly's experience, man. I don't even know what I had for a milkshake. The whole time I was just sitting here like, what the hell just happened?
Oh, did you say that was the rep?
Yeah, it was one of my friends that was a rep for another company. Yeah.
Oh, that better still be in the industry. What a legend. What a boss. Because, dude, like, we don't get enough of stories like that, man. Like, you set that young man. Dude, they could be married with 2 kids for all we know, man.
No kidding, right? No kidding.
I mean, who the hell knows? Of course, they could be the other side of the coin, too, you know, but what a legend, man. That's good, dude. That's cool to hear. It's
so he was working for I think that he left CLE. He was working for Altadis. It was my man Justin Richards. I haven't seen him in a long time, man, but they called him Momo. Big redheaded guy, power lifter, exercise guy. He's doing nursing stuff now. But he worked for CLE for a long time. What's that?
Was he East Coast guy?
He ended up on the East Coast. He was kind of a Midwest, like Ohio, like that area. Big redheaded guy, big beard. Him and another guy had a bet every year with the Michigan State Ohio game. And one year he got a guy to shave his legs for a full year, and another year he ended up having to like grow a full beard, like Dirty Man style, for like a full year. But yeah, he's crazy, man. I love that guy, but he's crazy. But yeah, friendlies, man, friendlies.
Was he the Michigan State fan or the Ohio State fan?
Oh, I can't remember now. I think he's the Ohio. I think he's the Ohio fan.
If he's a Michigan
Jesus
State
Christ!
I know.
Lately.
We'll put the
Oh my
cat
God, is that
drag.
Pizza Hut, dude?
Well, he's wearing a pizza for a shirt, so God, I hope
Yeah.
it's Pizza
Gotta be
Hut.
Pizza Hut.
He's got the phone like on the small screen. What's up, Mike? Let me tell you, that guy's got a hell of a pie, man. Cooked me a pie with jalapeno when I was up there, dude. Jalapeno, you know, it was a hell of a pie, man.
You're welcome to a pie anytime, buddy.
Spot.
Welcome to a pie anytime.
Definitely, man. I'll be doing that again soon. Yeah, I should be back up there. I'd probably say beginning April. Working
Nice.
about. So I'll eventually go out to El Paso. I'm looking forward to that. But they got real crazy with the lockdowns because of the rising cases and everything. So
Yeah.
who knows?
Hey, do you know that Cat Foreman that was on Facebook the other night?
Yeah, it's
He was saying that he's out of Fort Worth.
Yeah, it's Forrest. He's a customer down at UG. Now again, I assume it's going to be a virtual event, so I'll be there in a few weeks or whatever. But yeah, no, great guy, man, great guy too. So yeah, I saw that whole back and forth with you guys, man. I'd love to see it, dude. I'll come up there.
Yeah, man. Like I said, I don't even know that cat, but I'll throw him a party. I'll throw anybody a party who wants to throw a party up there. Let's do it.
I've been great people, grateful, man.
I figured he would be, man.
Super big black sheep, man. Just a good dude. It's wild too, man, because like, you know, you think of like covering 5 states. You know, you think the route's kind of crazy and everything. You know the drill, man. You did the life or whatever. Oh, I lost you guys for a second, but so weird. But anyways, like the one that's the longest is like Dallas Fort Worth, dude. You have to make like 4 or 5 different trips to hit everything. So it's like what I need to start doing probably this year is start planning like the overnight so I can kick it with those guys and, you know, have a drink and smoke a few cigars with them. Kind of like, you know, when I come up to see you guys, man, it was a good time.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're good people, man. He's good. I'd love to see that, dude. I'd love to see that. Hey, it's only 2.5 hours for me from here to where you guys are at, bro. So
Yeah. Man, I hope that we get a chance to get to break out a little bit this year because I don't know how much more of this lockdown stuff everybody's going to be able to handle.
I don't know, dude. It's you know, I get it, man. Like I just found out some cats I know, you know, tested positive today, and it's just like nonstop. And it was crazy, man. Like even here in Oklahoma, when it first started, you know, rolling out, man, we you know, we had the masks and you know, stayed home for 2 weeks to fight the curve and all that, and kind of try to do everything that we could. You know, like it's weird, man. People like to troll Oklahoma, you know, for the obvious reasons and stuff. But you know, we love our neighbors, our friends and family. We try to take care of everybody. But here we are a year later, man. Somebody screwed up along the way, so you know.
What when you're not doing podcasts, man? I know we've had this discussion a lot about music and what gets you up in the morning? What puts you to bed at night, music wise?
Oh man, dude, that is so broad a question, bro. I know, like, we've had the Aesop Rock discussion, right?
Yeah.
There's ink on the chest. I got like 4 layers of clothing on tonight, but there you go.
It's a little cold still.
Beg your pardon?
It's a little cold
yeah.
still.
But dude, I mean, I can give you the short list. My all-time favorite band is Iron Maiden, which is wild, like for people to hear. I love Queen, and I'm not talking just like, you know, it's funny. Like my least favorite Queen album is The Works. Like I hate We Are the Champions, and you know, like you heard them like a million times. Dude, it's like modern pop radio. Dude, give me like Queen 2. You know, give me Different Races. Hell, first vinyl I bought when I got the new vinyl player was Innuendo. Like I love the Deftones. That's the rock side of it. You know, I love punk music. Obviously, fit in good with the Ben Holtz of the world. You know, Misfits, and I got Operation Ivy shirt on. But I love hip hop music. You know, I mean, dude, I was listening to Big Boy on the way to the event last night, hence the Facebook video. But you know, hip hop. I don't know, man. We'll come back. Let's bookmark hip hop because. But I mean, I love female vocalists. I'm a huge. My all-time favorite female vocalist is Kate Bush, which people are like shocked to hear. I mean, I love, you know, the Nick Caves, the Tom Waits, you know, the Van Morrisons. I mean, my God, I could go on about, you know, that, you know, folk style and all that for a while too. Leonard Cohen, I'm a huge Leonard Cohen fan. passed away a few years ago. But hip hop wise, man, I don't know, dude. It's like a lot of stuff now is guilty pleasure. That's the Lil Uzi Verts and stuff, you know. But I'm not gonna, you know, kind of like you, bro. We've talked about it. I came up in the era where it was like, you know, I'm sure our buddy Skip Martin would appreciate this. I have a shirt somewhere in it that says all my favorite MCs are actors now. Because, you know, I came up with like Mos Def, Lib Kweli, you know, of course Outkast, Big Boys, or Andre 3000's on your show. You know, I love, of course, the whole East Coast, West Coast thing, but, you know, Tupac, Biggie, you know, early Jay-Z, and I always have to prefer, it's like Kanye. Like, after a certain album, just, like, it blows my mind to this day that effing Reasonable Doubt is still, as far as I know, not on iTunes. Like, Reasonable Doubt.
No, it's all there now. It just got on a month or two ago.
Maybe Siri, you know, quote a little Dion, you know, a little conspiracy theory. Maybe Siri got tired of me bitching about Reasonable Doubt not being on there. And I love
it's all on
everything
there.
I really do.
It's all on there. I think that was a Tidal thing. I think he was trying to make everybody go to Tidal to listen to his music. So, but yeah, I'm glad that stuff's on there. You know, that's definitely a good thing. What do you think is going to happen with Kanye getting divorced? Do you think there's going to be a new album? Do you think it's going to be a hot album?
The good thing about hanging out, knowing some streams on Twitch and stuff, is you get some of the best memes that you haven't experienced in your life. Like, as soon as that happened, the first thing I saw wasn't like, you know, oh, hearts, you know, thoughts and prayers, whatever, to Kanye, to Kim. The first thing you saw was, damn, dude, this is going to be the most fire Kanye album we've had in a good. Bro, Kanye got married to Kim, and we got Bound 2, bro. We got Bound 2. Y'all know about that Bound 2? That stupid video with the bike and everything. I guess like James Franco and Seth Rogen did a whole thing. Now, don't get me wrong. I think we got Dark Twisted Fantasy in there, and what the hell was the last? He did that gospel album. That was actually with the one with like all night.
It was
Mean.
actually
That was all right. Yeah, I can't complain about that. You know, you make it, but dude, like, you know, you think of like, you know, College Dropout. You think of Late Registration, man. I mean, bro, you gotta have some serious balls to do a cover of the late great Shirley Bassey's James Bond, "The Diamonds Are Forever" song, and that remix with Jay-Z, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Come on now. Come on now. Yeah. So we'll see what happens. Look, the one thing I like, about Kanye, you know, he's had an interesting couple of years. He's like the 2020 of the last couple of years. He's never afraid to experiment. So many people in modern music, even in the past, are really kind of afraid to get out of their comfort zone. Kanye never was that guy. You know, that's why I love Kate Bush. If you look at Kate Bush, man, you know, a trained ballet dancer basically, and you went everywhere from like pop to, you know, she was like a female Paul Simon. I mean, you had elements of jazz and folk and funk. It's just, I like creativity, and I think that's like the Outkast thing. Andre 3000, I mean, is a creative force. What a genius. But going back and listening to Outkast, I'm like, holy crap, man! Big Boy actually probably does more of my favorite verses. Like I did, and you know, the most overused term is people like to say I got a hot take. You know, I got a hot take. Hot take, man, if you want one, is you remember the Speaker Box Low album? Fantastic, right? The doubles. They were kind of going their own way. I actually prefer Big Boys, the Speaker Box album.
Yeah,
I think Love Below is more creative, but Speaker Box, man, I can still listen to. That's the one I had on yesterday.
I still think, man, this is you could take this to the bank and get a check out of this. I think that Outkast gets back together, and they open up in whatever malls are left in America. They open up a Sam Goody for 1 week and only sell that album as a hard copy. Don't put it on any digital media. Just sell it in the stores 1 week. Open up 30,000 Sam Goodies. They move 10 million albums and they never make another album again.
But here's my question: why Outkast? Why Sam Goody?
That's just how it is, man. That was the album. I mean, that was the place to buy records in the South.
Bro, but you don't remember Wyclef Jean had the remake of the Bee Gees song "Trying to Stay Alive"? He get the CD from Sam Goody, you know.
Oh,
Wyclef would be
maybe it was a
the guy
subconscious thing I never even thought about. That's great.
Actually, I'll tell you another guy like in hip hop too. Another one of those guys that goes on the shirt was dude. I was a huge fan of Common early. That's a guy who fell off hard. Hell of an actor, man. Whatever. He's doing some great movie. You know, scores, soundtracks. But dude, have you ever heard like like Water for Chocolate or Electric Circus? Creativity on that, man. And the album he had with the beautiful Taraji P. Henson in the video, B, had a Testify on it. That was a hell of a record too, man.
Yeah. He was doing a bunch of live shows like Vegas, like between Vegas and Chicago, going back and forth right before COVID started. Like it was like every other week he was at one of those two places doing live shows. Common was. And then COVID happened and he stopped doing everything because, well, you know, it is what it is. But they were like really intimate, like little clubs. And it was like 4 different clubs, 2 in each city. And he was just bouncing back and forth between them. I would have loved to have seen that. That would have been awesome. Common was, yeah.
I would pay money to see that. That's the thing that nobody's really talked about, man. You know, we talk about like during COVID-19, we talk about the small businesses hurting. The airlines are damn sure feeling it. The hotel industry, man. It sounds like we make the joke. We make the joke up there, but like for reps, it's great. Like, dude, we're staying at home suites and some of our favorite spots for a fair price, but they're feeling it. And dude, like nobody's even talking about the music industry. Live shows, which obviously in the modern age, iTunes and Spotify's, like live shows is how they make bank. And the fact of the matter is we don't have music, we don't have off-Broadway, we don't have Broadway right now. Yeah. Damned if anybody's going to the theater. I mean, they've realized real quickly that they've got this, they're like, one of the actors I probably watched smoking a cigar on a street corner would be an Oscar movie, the great Denzel Washington. Dude, I'm chilling watching a sports event. It was a football game or something, maybe a couple months ago or whatever. But Denzel ended up coming out with a movie starring with Jared Leto and Rami Malek. Still haven't seen it. I think it's called Little Things or something like that.
Yeah, it was all right.
They dropped it, and nobody went, I'm sure. And they're dropping it to, HBO or something? Like, dude, they don't need to do theaters anymore, man. Like, that's the sad part. That's what we did in Austin, man. Like, we went to the movies,
Right. Yeah, man. No, it was a decent film. Leto plays a crazy bastard. It was good. It was good. Leto plays a crazy bastard, and it was pretty good. It was a pretty good flick.
Rami Malek,
that guy is
damn good job. And if y'all have not seen Mr. Robot, I'm so picky with TV shows that I watch. I love Dark. I think I mentioned that up there. Real unique. Everybody was caught up in Stranger Things, but if you haven't watched Dark ruined TV for me because that was probably the best continuity, most complete show that I've seen. And Mr. Robot was the one right before that. That show just had some of the best acting. Dude, they resurrected Christian Slater's career, and he won a Golden Globe either first or second season. That was, dude, have you seen it? Have y'all watched that?
Yeah, we watched through the first season. I haven't gotten a chance to see the rest of it yet.
It was on USA. It was a good show.
The guy that does the show is a cat named Sam Esmail. He did another show. I haven't watched it yet. I think it's called Homecoming on Amazon.
Yeah.
With the first season had Julia Roberts. I think second season had Janelle Monáe, if I recall.
About the second season.
But I haven't watched it. But Sam Esmail was one of those guys, like you can tell he's a nerd at heart. I mean that as a compliment because he has this musical timing. I mean, they used Kraftwerk in the show. But the best one, there was one episode, no spoilers, where Rami Malek's having an interaction with one of the main characters. And they've got this incredible ambient lighting. I've got to say it's probably the best setup shot of TV, probably the last 10 years. And they used the Daft Punk song from Random Access Memories called Touch. I don't know if you ever heard of Paul Williams.
Yeah.
And they used that one, like, mid-cut where it's that kind of that ambient chorus. And I'm just sitting there like, I don't even remember what the hell the character said. I had to go back and watch it because it was just such a beautiful scene. And you don't see that, man. Like, a couple of people have been talking about the new Bryan Cranston show. I need to watch that.
I heard good things.
Series, Your Honor, The Judge, or something like that. But
I've heard good things.
But I just nothing has hooked me. I've tried to watch a couple other shows, and I can't get hooked, man.
Yeah, man, that Mr. Robot was dope though. Like, the first season, when we watched the first season, I was like, man, this is good. This is really good. Yep. Agree.
Dark Mirror. Y'all watch that?
I haven't seen that yet.
Seen that.
Black Mirror, yeah. I haven't watched that.
That was real out there, and it was awesome. That was frightening episodes of that show.
So,
Last
man,
thing I thought was Gordon and his Ozark.
yeah,
does.
sorry about that.
Dude, I'd watch it. I said Denzel sitting on a street corner smoking a cigar. Jason Bateman's another one of those guys. I think that guy's comedic timing is incredibly underrated. Like, we grew up with Jason Bateman in Teen Wolf 2.
Right?
Real time, Send Me an Angel, like from The Wizard. But Jason Bateman, hell of a comedy actor, but he's just as good in dramatic roles, too, man.
Yeah, man.
That's a show, too.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what they do with that. That's going to be a good time.
Mhm.
I think that's going to be excellent.
Is this,
Hey man, so I've got a
go ahead.
question that I ask everybody every time we do one of these, and it's always a fun one, and it always makes people think for a minute because they don't want to give it away. But I try to get somebody to show their card every once in a while. What's something you messed up real bad, but no one knows about it until now?
Oh, man. I mean, any life situation?
Anything you want to.
Oh,
Go back
man,
to high school.
No names? Yeah, no names, but don't drink much whiskey to the point where you make an ass of yourself and ruin any potential of a relationship that might have been a few years ago. That's one of the things I can think about. Dude, I've been so comfortably independent for so long. If I date, cool. If I don't, whatever, man, I'm chilling, But yeah, there was a girl that was like intimidated by me. It was the weirdest thing because I don't give a shit if I can say that. I really don't. But at the same time. But yeah, needless to say, that was one of those ones. Only like 2 people knew about that, but that was one of those situations where you had a full Larry David moment. Nothing stupid, with respect and everything. But it was like one of those next days where I was like, Larry David, I was like, look, I'd like to apologize. I'd certainly like to apologize. It was like full Larry David moment, but I don't know, man. That was probably the only one I could think of. I'm sure I probably like screwed up other things along the way, but we all make mistakes and learn from them. But that was probably the big one.
I'd ask Pizza Mike the same question, but I already know the answer.
Every day.
Yeah, it's a somewhat of a family-friendly show, right? Sunday night, right?
Would you like to add anything, Pizza Mike?
If you can smoke any cigar with anybody from the past or present, who would you smoke a cigar with?
It's funny, man. I was at Dan. See, I love me some Pizza Mike. I was asked that question. I was attending an event a few years ago, a name we all know. It was up at Clyde Percy's shop when I was still working in America, and Jose Blanco was there. The great Jose Blanco, now with Arturo Fuente cigars. He was still with EPC. We were doing the taste test where it was like the 6 different wrappers in one, where we learned after 20 years of smoking cigars we don't know shit. And he asked the same question. You know who I said? It's easy to say Churchill. It's easy to say Castro. It's easy to say Arnold Schwarzenegger and this person. One of the great actors, one of my all-time favorite actors, who is a cigar smoker. He's been in Cigar Aficionado on a number of occasions. Incredibly versatile actor. And did one of my, everybody thinks of Fight Club and Seven when you think of David Fincher movies. Nope. I think a movie called The Game. It's actually my favorite. It's that actor, the great Michael Douglas. I would smoke a cigar with Michael Douglas. That would be my answer.
That's pretty good. That's pretty
You asked
good.
the question,
I do like
Pizza.
Michael Douglas.
You asked the question, who would you smoke, Pizza? Who would you want to smoke with?
Yep.
My
I want to know. Yeah.
My grandfather.
Yeah. I'd go for JFK. I think it'd be interesting to kick it with him. Ask him about some Cuban Missile Crisis stuff. Ask him about how he brought those Cuban cigars in before the ban.
Yep.
Little things like that. What about you,
JFK would
G?
be-
Man, you know what? I'd sit in one of my favorite places and smoke a cigar with myself, because why the hell not?
That's such a good answer, too. I love it, dude. And you can do that every night, brother.
Right? I sure could. If I had time for things like that, it would be amazing.
Bro, you're like a well-traveled man of the industry, man. You're like one of those guys we all lean on, bro. That's
Well, I appreciate that, man.
on this one, runner up would be Avo. Just hearing some of the stories like guys like Gordon have had about with Avo and stuff. I think that would be a trip.
Or Zeno.
Damn crazy. I'll shorten it, the Italian talk. A few years ago, and I apologize, I forget the date. I was in Tampa. I generally try to go to, even, on the job, I take a vacation every year. I had a wedding / 2 big releases with the movie Dissident this year, so it wasn't a vacation per se. But a few years ago, I used to go out every year before COVID when Tampa Humidor was still owned by Mike Howe. Great shop in Tampa. It's now Casa de Monte Cristo. And they would do a multi-vendor every year called Tampa Cigar Bash. You'd see the Mike Rosales, the Mike Herklots, some of the great names. I want to say it was a few days before that, Nick Melillo was doing an event. It was, fantastic event there. But before the Nick Melillo event, I want to say it was at Davidoff. I might have the years mixed up. We were waiting for an event. It might have been an Oliva event or something that night. But we were at a fellow friend of mine who was at the time, he's younger as my father rep, and a couple of my boys, and we were at Jeff's Davidoff, Tampa. We call it Corona Tampa. Having coffee, smoking some cigars, and everybody was asking, "Are you here for the event?" We're like, "What the hell are you talking about? We got the event tonight." Well, long story short, we hung out for a few more hours, beautiful Tampa day, and Avo Vezian walks in and does a classic covers event. We ended up buying tickets, if I remember, smoking, one cigar because we were already running a little behind. But I want to say he played the piano. We were not there for that, which would have been a real treat. Hell of a musician, but man, and I want to say the next year or later that year perhaps is when he passed away. So, it was kind of like an unintentional. I mean, we didn't talk to him or anything. We were, it was well attended, but just kind of thinking we got to be in the same room and breathe the same air as a legend like that, and it's
So
you don't get.
We had him at my old shop for a dinner for one of his birthday parties. I want to say it was '85, the 85th party, and we got a quartet. I'm sorry, a quartet that had a bass player and a keyboardist and a sax player and a trumpet player. And so we got all of them the sheet music for Broken Guitar, which is the song that later kind of was absconded and turned into Strangers in the Night. And so they learned that, and they made sure they had that. And it was funny because they got everything set up and they made sure everything was in tune. And Avo walked in and he swings over and talks to the piano player for a minute. And he's like, "Hey, man, do you mind if I sit in tonight?" And they're like, "Oh, we know about you. Go ahead, not a problem. Whenever you want, you just let us know." And so they started playing Broken Guitar, and he gets up out of his chair and he walks over to the piano player and he goes, "I think I know this one. Do you mind if I sit in?" And so the guy just slides out of the way and he slides in, and it was like they didn't even miss a note. It was incredible. And he just played for about 5 minutes and just riffed and riffed and riffed, and then the other guy slid back in and they just played the rest of the song. It was incredible.
Dude, my first, I was really coming into premium cigars. My first event that I remember, and I'll never forget it. I still have the video of this. I'll have to send it to you sometime. You think of this now, it wouldn't happen. But I want to say it was 2014 or 13 in same place, Tampa Humidor. And the lineup was B. Johnson, which could have been enough. I mean, legend. Yanni Garcia, Pepin Garcia, and Jaime Garcia. And Tampa's a beautiful town, great cigar, but it's really old. So, Pete was still he was killing it, dude. Had a hell of an event, but I speak full Spanish. Again, I went to high school in Puerto Rico. My mom, my mom was 20 years Navy, like I said. And, Pepin doesn't really speak a whole lot of English, but we were able to have a great conversation. We talked to Jaime, and I spoke good English, whatever, but they had a beautiful live Latin band. And, we're all having a couple of cold ones, drinking the Vino Rosso, the red wine. But I remember Pat halfway through the night had a beautiful sports coat, suit jacket on, and puts the cigar down, does one of these numbers as the band starts playing the Celia Cruz turned Wyclef Jean remake classic Guantanamera. Bro, Pepin gets up there, takes the mic, and bro, he nailed it. Like, he killed it. I couldn't believe it. It was the damnedest thing. And I'm sitting there laughing. My boy, what? I'm like, do you realize what is happening right now? This is insane, dude. And but that's what this industry is all about, man. It's
Amen.
Times like.
So we threw a party one time, and I think we could do this all night, but I threw a party one time for Rocky when Rocky was in town up at the old store, and we got a ska band in from just north of here, about an hour and a half. Pretty solid ska band. They were playing for the weekend. They were playing around town here, so we grabbed them and said, "Hey, man, would you guys be willing to play?" So we set up out on the back patio of the old store, and they played like 2.5, 3 hours altogether. We had to be closed up with the band by 10 o'clock, so we didn't piss anybody off, but. There may or may not have been a Rocky Patel behind the drum sighting, followed by Rocky and I having a full-on freeform with the ska band. And I freestyle rapped with Rocky Patel playing drums for 10 or 15 minutes. It was pretty crazy night.
Ska is such an underrated genre, man. I'm a huge Fishbone fan too. Like most people don't even know who Fishbone is, sadly, man. You know,
Dude,
if you've never
we saw them in a Mexican restaurant with 35 other people here in town. They showed up and played in the back of this Mexican restaurant. Yeah,
bro.
And then he tried to what's his name? Tried to steal my hat. He's
Dr.
like, let's trade
Madbot?
hats.
Yeah, Angelo.
No, shit, the lead singer. What the hell's his name? He always wears the hat.
Oh, you said not Angelo. Okay, yeah. God, I can't think of his name, but I see his face. Yeah, with the tip it to the side and everything.
He's always got a hat, man. He's always got a hat.
Yeah.
What the fuck is his name?
Damn. The crazy thing is, like, I always think they have. If nobody's ever heard that cover, they did a cover with a great like Spanish ska band called Los Fabulosos Cadillacs. Have you ever heard What's New Pussycat Tom Jones cover?
Yeah.
Go look at it. It's an unbelievable
Yeah.
music. Yeah, that's
What
a
is
sick
it?
cover. It's for a charity event. I guess that charity does. They do a lot of AIDS research.
Yeah.
Specifically, I think lately for the LGBTQ plus community. But something Silencio Muerte, I think it was called. But you can't even you can only get that cover on that album. Like I still have the CD of that because you just can't find it. But yeah, those guys are killer, man. So Rocky Patel on drums, 15 minutes of you dropping that science, hell of an event, dude.
It was fun. It was a fun time. I've also been fortunate to have Michael Herklotz backing me up on a freestyle session, which is nice. And Booth was playing bass.
Wait. Oh, okay. I thought he took Mike took you to school, bro.
No, Mikey was playing the drums the whole time. Because I don't know if you know this about him.
If you think about it, because Rocky, I didn't know Mike did too. You think like Nick Perdomo, man, like guys are epic drummers.
Mike Herklotz went to Juilliard.
I thought I heard that. I never knew his instrument of choice though. Shame on me.
Drums, yeah, he's a monster.
I'm not surprised, dude. Dude's like the king of the fashion too, bro. Like
right.
that is a suave cat, man.
Yeah, that's a good dude. That is a good dude.
Yeah,
absolutely. The guy from Fishbone's name is Angelo.
Yeah, that's what Angelo, Dr. Madbot.
Angelo, yeah, so you call him that. Yeah, that's his nickname. Yeah.
He used to date Patricia Arquette. It's the damnedest
story. No shit. That makes sense, I guess, in a weird way.
No, dude, he's a killer, man. Those guys are still. They ain't done an album in a couple of years, but come on, bro. Like Chim Chim's Badass Revenge. You think of Party at Ground Zero. You think of Unyielding Conditioning. Dude, ska is so underrated, man. Dude, I'll tell you, those top 10 albums of all time questions. Do you remember Catch 22's album Keys Be Nights?
The one that was later redone by Streetlight
Manifesto, which basically was
half of that band. Yes, well aware.
Dude, that album, top 10 album all time for me. That is a sick record. I still listen.
When they basically just did a remaster, I mean, completely replayed everything, but did the remaster when you could actually hear everything that was going on in that album. It's an amazing album, 100%.
Yeah,
100%. Every song is put together perfectly, and it's just wonderful.
They did everything.
Last year,
the release lineup was the same and everything. I remember.
Yeah. Last year they had said that they were going to spend the year in the studio before all the COVID stuff happened, Streetlight. And so I'm hoping that they're going to show up in the next month or so and say, by the way, we've got 2 new albums and we're going to be touring as soon as COVID's done.
Keys Be Nights.
I'm hoping. We'll see if it happens.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know if you've seen them, but that's a show worth seeing if you haven't seen that.
Yeah. Years when it was still Streetlight back in Tampa. We used to see so many shows there, dude. It was insane.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I saw Vampire Weekend like 4 times when they were just coming up. Rostam's a genius. If you haven't heard his album with Hamilton Lighthouser, what the hell's the album called? Basically, there's a song on there called 1,000 Times. Phenomenal. I mean, dude, we turned down more shows, we had to turn down more shows we could go to, kind of thing. We saw the Deftones. I mean, we saw if they came through, we saw. Dude, even when I lived in Austin, the second to last night I lived in Austin, we saw the Pixies. Okay, another one of my all-time favorite bands. And we didn't even know this when we had booked the tickets, but they were doing the Doolittle album tour, and they played every song on Doolittle. Of course they like "Where Is My Mind" and all that as the encore, but
yeah.
I mean that's my favorite record, man. I mean, like what are the chances of that, dude? We saw
That's awesome.
Tori Amos put on a set, man, a hell of a show. Like we got some great musical history. Dude, we saw Billy Idol when he did that album in 98 or whatever it was, Devil's Playground.
Yeah.
But my God, we saw some damn good shows down there.
So, speaking of odd music that people don't know about, did you see that the Streets put out an album recently, and there's rumors that they're also gonna get out and start doing some things as soon as the COVID is over.
100% honest with you, dude. I did. I've listened to it. It's okay. Let me give it a few more listens. I love Mike, dude. He is another musical genius. For a guy that basically does spoken word. Okay, here's a question, though. What's your favorite Streets album? It's probably an easy answer, though.
Nah, man, because I like a lot of them. So I've always been a fan. I've always been a fan of Pirate Material just because of what it is. But
favorite track on there.
But Everything Else Is Borrowed.
Yeah, that's okay, wait, is Everything Else Is Borrowed the one that has The Escapist as the final track on it?
Yep.
Okay. That's a super album. But dude, again, top 10 albums of all time, okay, don't come for free. That album is from start to, and then they added the remix of Fit But You Know It. Like, who'd have thought that remix would have been like, dude, that is literally the UK grime hip hop scene that came out of that. Kano, that remix. Like, what's her name? Lady Sovereign was on that remix. Like, there's some G's on that
big
record,
name.
man.
The thing that I liked about that album is that it went from the beginning to the end. It told one story.
Literally.
Like all the things that are happening.
Empty Cans, the final track on that is favorite Street song.
Yeah.
And that's a story. Like, they could make that track into a TV show or movie.
Yeah, right. But yeah, if you look at it though, like so there's the whole part like Fit But You Know It. Like this is like day 3 and he's at a bar at a place trying to get chips and drinks and finds out
McDonald's overseas for fish and chips or something.
Yeah. Like I mean that's all part of the story that leads up to the fact that a grand don't come for free.
Yeah, and it's funny because he talks about like there's the big single Dry Your Eyes, and you had the not the Blinded by Lights, that's The Weeknd, but the song where he's like tripping out. He's on MDMA or whatever he's doing, but actually the kid, whatever the hell the kid these days, but
the drugs they're on.
Back in the day, But yeah, so he's coming down from the trip and like finds the money behind the TV. I mean, dude, that album, like, bro, they just don't make that shit. And like, that's why I'm glad he's back. I listened to the album when I was on the road. I think I was doing my my West Texas run when it came out. So seeing all the Midland crew, Train Car and everybody, Lubbock, John Curtis, all those guys had a good time. But I remember like listening to the album and I dug it, but like it was different. It was kind of more computer blues, if you remember that little EP before he retired.
Yep.
It was kind of that than like Everything Else Is Borrowed or Grand Don't Come for Free, OPM, original material, all that stuff.
Yeah, so I think he's kind of maturing, and I don't know that he's doing drugs anymore, and that might affect the quality of the music.
That's fine, man. I mean, I always we think of the jazz reference. John Coltrane was better when he was hopped up, but dude, Mike's another one of those guys. Mike would be one of those guys. If he was a filmmaker, that wouldn't surprise me. if he ended up doing like film, he'd have I'd watch it. It'd be fantastic because the guy's a storyteller. It's a lost art.
I think you're absolutely right about that. There's not enough of that going on. All right. So speaking of storytelling, have you watched any of The Expanse?
It's funny you
It's
say
a sci-fi
that. Another what are the kids? Hot take. So Sammy, the guy that got me home driving it all night like a Roy Orbison song or a Cyndi Lauper cover, he got me watching it. Sadly, some things got spoiled for me, and it often makes it hard. Not on purpose. It was an accident, but it often makes it hard to pick up on the show when you're starting to identify with 3 characters and you find out after a certain season they're no longer a part of that vehicle. So I watched about 6 episodes and kind of capped it. I'm not going to be that same a-hole and spoil it, but I'm one of the lead actors who's a well-known actor that we all know. Had a cup of coffee in our industry. I love his work. I think he's underrated. The problem is, I apologize. I know you guys have probably watched it lately. The show's incredibly creative, but here's the problem. And I'll turn this question back to you. Did you ever watch the remake of Battlestar Galactica?
Yeah.
My computer, the old one, the computer's name was Gaius Baltar. That should tell you everything you need to know. That show's content, I kid you not, the great James Callis, had a chance to meet him a few years ago, super nice guy. That show the continuity on that show was fantastic. A lot of people could get, the ending was a little ish. I mean, it is what it is. But
I think they did it justice, though. They did it justice.
Sure. I thought it ended fine. When you had the Cylons had identifiable characters, the great Callum Keith Rennie as Leroy Kenobi. But the problem, I think, with The Expanse is I started watching it, and I'm like, don't get me wrong, it's very entertaining. But I'm like, this is trying to be Battlestar Galactica 10 years after, whatever the hell they stopped filming it. I was really intrigued by the premise in the first episode. It hooked me. But it's just like, I'm going to have to pick back up on it, but I'm going to have to kind of disregard those spoilers and know not to get too attached to certain characters,
Yeah, and that's a shame because the story is the thing, man. Like they're telling 5 and 6 stories all at the same time. They're keeping everything together, but everything's separated. It's really, I think it's really well done. I could see how you would think that as far as the way it's going about doing what it's doing. But yeah, at the end of the day, the storytelling is phenomenal.
I don't really like the lead character. I think that's the problem. That's the issue I had with Stranger Things, and I apologize. I know, like, Ben loves Stranger Things. I grew up in the 80s, man. It's like Stranger Things is the 80s. The problem is, man, some of the, look, I love No Writer, of course, but, like, some of the kids in that show, man, the kids are cool, like 11, all that, but it never hooked me. I was like, I get it. Of course, don't take my word for it. I'm like 6 assholes probably suffering through The Walking Dead because I've started and I'm going to finish it. What a turd that thing's turned into, man. Holy cow, bro. Thank God Jeffrey Dean Morgan as Norman Reedus dude, everybody knows Norman Reedus from Boondock Saints. But do you remember Norman Reedus from 6 Ways to Sunday? That's a great movie. The late Isaac Hayes.
What do you think, Pizza Mike?
Walking Dead, I hate it.
Oh, it's terrible now. I don't think the original, they're going to finish it off with some movies, but Rick Grimes no longer on the show. And I'm not spoiling anything. Like, find out if they ever died. Rick Grimes
Zombie.
Denai Guerrero. Gone. Yeah, Denai Guerrero, who's Michelle, gone. Hell, dude, I don't think there's an image that somebody posted. The only 2 characters left from the original shot, like the set shot that they took, are Daryl and Carol. And apparently they're going to get a spinoff, which I'll watch. I'll watch that for sure. But so obviously they're not going to die. So there's another spoiler.
Spoiler alert.
The problem is, and I speak to Mike this too. Problem with that show, there are certain people, God bless them, you want everybody to see, that should never touch television again. Do you remember a show called Heroes?
Yeah.
Awful. How do you take that cast and F it up so bad? Dude, they would introduce characters and forget about them. Like, Tim Craig is one of those names. The other name is Scott Gimple. Scott Gimple was writing The Walking Dead when it was at its roughest. He basically got promoted to doing Fear the Walking Dead, and another executive producer came in, Angela Tang, and did, I want to say, season 9, where they had like Ezekiel and everything on it. That was the best season since like the Shane days. It was excellent. The Governor and all that. And then the great thing is Scott Gimple is doing Fear the Walking Dead, and I guess there's a new spin-off. I'm not going to give it my time. The World Beyond. Dude, Fear the Walking Dead is horrible. And they've got the great Lenny James, who's Morgan from The Walking Dead. They've got Dwight from The Walking Dead. They've got Garrett Dillahunt, great character actor who was in Deadwood, a bunch of shows. You probably know him if you've seen him. Jenna Elfman, like Maggie Grace, who was on Lost, much Lost. Like, they have an amazing ensemble cast, and it's terrible. Like, none of the original characters except Coleman Domingo, who's a big cigar smoker, plays Strand, and the girl are on there, just because, like, poor writing. Like, you could, if you started watching that show at its inception, it is nothing at all. Like, you wouldn't even know it's the same show at this point. That show's probably going to get the old MC axe in the COVID era, and it's a damn shame. Damn shame.
What can you do? What can you do? Well,
Not be a shitty writer, I guess.
What's been your favorite? What's your favorite story from the road? Something that happened to you while you've been traveling. Tell us something about.
Saturday night story.
There's a million of them. What's that?
The Saturday night story is definitely going to be my new number one.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Driving. Man, I got to be 100% honest. I wish I could like regale you with tales of woe and disgrace. The road has been fantastic, man. The company's been great. I'm pretty like streamlined as far as, I'm a plotter and a planner. So I always set my routes pretty well, and I can't really complain, man. I don't really have any like crazy road stories. You know what? I'll give you one. You've heard it, I think, so I apologize for reacting.
Right.
Listeners can hear. I had the pleasure, a true treat, last March of having the great James Brown traveling with me for 4 events in 5 days, which was great for him. Ben and Derek, Ben Holt, obviously a dissident owner now, and Derek Matthews, for those that don't know, our great sales manager, probably the most underrated guy in the world, man. I tell you what, dude, that guy's a hell of a cat. But they were all doing the events. I was beat, but I had done a week before that, then a week with James, and then I was going to Nicaragua with the big smokers, Abby and Rebecca, just phenomenal people, they're guys. And I was going to have 3 days, graciously, with Ian and Rebecca down at James and Angela's place. And ended up getting there. Factory tour went off without a hitch. We got to smoke some hot releases, as you guys know, that are coming out this year. And then we, just a wonderful time. I always said, like, I had opportunities to go in the past, but I didn't want to go. Even before I was with the company, I couldn't get out in the culture. So, we stayed at the Hotel Los Arcos. It was phenomenal. Got Nicaraguan boots custom done. We ate at a different restaurant for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, pretty much. At the factory, blending our cigars, all the fun stuff that comes with it. So we end up getting down to the San Juan del Sur, like the second half of the excursion. Some of the Smokers Abbey crew, I think they got a private base in the the volcanic lake area, and just had too good a time. But we end up getting there. I think we're there like half a day maybe, and the embassy, if I recall, will text you like if something's wrong, or we got a notification or something to call the airport. And I had my car in Dallas from the events. They were all flying to Austin, and I ended up basically getting a notification that was like, you need to leave tonight to be home tomorrow if you like me want to get out of the country. So we ended up I slept, and then I think we went to the beach, had some ceviche, chill out, and then got to drive 6 hours back to the Best Western, fly out the next day. And then the best part of the story was one of my favorite airports is Miami Airport, because you can get cigars, smoke your own cigars. Excuse me. And there's a TGI Fridays restaurant, and there's an open air, for anybody that has been, open air bar right next to it where you can, smoke cigars, all that. Anybody that knows, I'm a huge draft nerd for NFL football. Dude, I can even tell you this year, going into the 7th round, you want to know who your team's going to take? Ask me about a player. And so I'm right in the middle of draft season, and I'm getting ready to go over and just chill out, do some draft coverage, smoke a last rites, and just kick it. I literally walked the quarter mile to the terminal, and long story short, like the dude's like chain latching the door, had just chain latched the door as I get there. Like it was 9 hours of some of the worst, most boring airport time ever. So that's probably my fun road story if there's any of them. And I remember talking to my good friend, Big Tony Gomez from Espinosa Cigar. We were going to smoke some cigars the next night or something. And Tony's like, bro, you better take yourself home, get home safe, because you're going to be home for a long time. And I think pretty much the most of us that are traveling again, we're home for about 2 months.
Yeah, this whole thing has been something else, man. To start out being on the road, like, because you've been you were with the company for about a year and a half, and then then
October 2019,
yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so being on the road, being out and about, and then all of a sudden you're just finally getting set in your ways, and hey, man, you're just gonna have to stay home for a year, all right?
So here's and we were it was really interesting, man, because April we called reverse December, because December in our territory, generally everybody's done ordering, kind of chilling by about the 15th of December, getting ready for the holidays, for the shop and their families. So we're kind of off the road about then, go back the second week of January. But it was kind of like, April, everybody was kind of waiting it out to see what they were going to do. Fired up a soapbox real quick.
Oh, yeah.
I smoked too many of these bad boys. But the thing is, May was probably like either my best month or second best month of the year. I'm sitting there like toward the end of the month, I'm like, this is dumb. Wearing our masks, social distancing. I called Derek and I was like, Derek, can I go? Like, can I go on the road? And just said be safe. And they were kind of certain. Like my heart goes out to our East Coast rep Levi, and our great guy Nick Goss up in the New England area. Because dude, they got like New York, New Jersey, Maryland, Virginia, Pennsylvania, and those states were really heavily impacted by COVID-19. So a little different for everybody. But yeah, we ended up traveling again, and I mean, it's just got kind of weird, man. But yeah, 2 months. But at the same time, man, like everybody's like, oh, I'm bored and this and that, dude. I can drink some coffee, drink some whiskey, take care of my shops. You guys all know you can text me, call me. I do the same. And I ended up, dude, I'm like a huge World of Warcraft nerd, bro. Hence the building of the Grand PC now. Like, dude, I can cover the draft. I can play WoW. I can chill. I can watch The Expanse and all that stuff, listen to music. Like, I love being on the road. I'm on the road a ton. I'm a single guy. But I can just as easily chill at the house, bro. I don't give a shit. Like, I'm cool, man. I'm going to
Get it done.
Yeah, absolutely, bro. Have fun.
So you guys at the shop got some questions, got some comments, got some concerns?
Well, I can think of a few things. Well,
Go
Dean,
ahead.
you always put me on something that's good. So last time, you brought the Emilio sticks in, which are fire. What's something else that I'm going to...
Side one before this, actually.
What's something coming that you think is going to be massive fire that you can talk about?
So I'm the hype man. I'm like the Don King of the cigar industry, I guess, just without the
Hyena.
W's. Yes. Here's the thing. Here's a fun little story for you on that. Yeah, dude. As you guys all know, and look, man, I'm talking events, man. You know what I'm saying? Cameroon is like Candela. It's a damn tricky wrapper. There's no middle ground. People love it or people hate it. There's no in between. I hope you guys enjoyed Swarm. I very much did. But I am incredibly intrigued by the build out on the blend. You guys see it on the sheets of Hyena. And I would love to tell you at length about how the Hyena tastes, smokes, and everything. There's a short problem. I did the event, like I said, Stag by Omerta Cigar last night, and we had a hell of an event. But we had a Lizard King, Mario Santos, some of our grad sticks, like when we did the event up there, that are literally sitting in a warehouse in Oklahoma City because of the poor weather. My Hyena sampler, I believe, is with those. So when that comes in, I will gladly talk about it. But I'll be 100% honest. Hyena excites me. And the one that you guys, I don't know if I brought you one, Gordon, but if I haven't, we'll find one. You guys hopefully had Super Deluxe, enjoyed Super Deluxe last year. That is fire, but the other half of that factory exclusive coin, the Memento Mori, dude, that shit is going to change the game. That is absolute. James is like, we talk about Fishbone and Rob Malik and all these creative minds, bro. That is 20 years of smoking cigars, that is still one of the most unique blends I've had. So hopefully when that comes out, that'll be later in the summer, later in the fall. I apologize, not off the top of my head knowing. But yeah, you guys should really enjoy that cigar when that comes out. That is
I'm gonna need that.
It's gonna be a big one. Oh yeah, I got y'all down for it. Don't you worry.
I'm gonna need that. Yep, I'm excited about that one myself.
Just separate from that, man, I'll be 100% honest with you guys. We're talking about legends like Avo and Pepin and all these great guys, Pete Johnson. Dude, I got to be honest with you. Some of my, look, I can tell you the whole catalog coming out, man, and obviously that's why I'm rocking the hat and loving working for this company. But I'm just excited also for our compadres, as it were, in this industry, because, dude, like some of the cats got, effed up. Keep it family friendly. Last year, I mean, you think of our friend Honduras, man, with the 10% COVID, 10% capacity because of COVID. Then they had that god awful hurricane that hit, Temporilla or whatever it is out there. Dominican Republic felt it. So I'll just be excited about all the shops being able to try new blends from some of our peers, man. There's probably going to be some real creative stuff coming out. Probably stuff that people wanted to get out in 2020 fiscal year but didn't have that option. So, I keep my eyes, man. I like to see the thing that like Skip and Mike are doing and Nick and Saka and all those guys, man. We got some real creative minds in business, and I happen to have the pleasure of working for a couple of them myself. So I'm excited for you guys. Just the same. That might be a great political answer. But, dude, it should be, let me pose a question to you guys. 2020 releases, whether it was core line from, new core line from a company, LEs, if you think of the Super Deluxe and Swarm and things that, LJZ, things of that nature. What do you guys think about the release schedule for 2020, considering the weirdness of the year?
I'm talking about just with your brand or all brands? Everybody. So 2020 was real interesting, I think, because I think by the middle of the year, everybody said, we don't know what we're going to do. And it was probably the most willy-nilly and chaotic release I've seen in, like, as a whole in 10 years of doing this. I think that the best thing that could happen is they actually all have realized that they can't keep doing things as a whole. Our industry can't keep doing things the way they've been doing them, where they just try to throw everything out there and see what sticks, and maybe hopefully they're going to start making some plans to be a little bit more structured, a little bit less just guessing and throwing things out there. Yeah. That's just my 2 cents.
And you're right. That's one thing I can always commend the Van Negra team on is the plotting. We're kind of at a different kind of advantage because Angela live in Nicaragua full time. They love it. I'm envious of them after spending a week there. But the fact that it kind of was a little different for us. But I mean, you think of the creativity you're seeing. What are we in? February, March. We got Hyena coming out. Can't wait. But like the other day, I just got to smoke the Rare Leaf from my good buddy Terrence Riley and the folks down there at Aganorsa Leaf. I don't know if you guys have enjoyed that yet, dude. I'll tell you something, man. I believe that's one of the more Criollo. I can never say the word Criollo. That sounds right. 98 forward cigars that they do, but that was a fantastic cigar. And I'd love to. I'll see Patrick Carmichael, I believe, next week and tell him that. But you're already kind of seeing the creative juices flowing, with things like that. We said Hyena coming out. I'm sure Dissident will have some stuff in the works. Emilio, bro, I have no idea. I'm stoked to see what comes next, because I got to be honest, like, gun to my head in our catalog last year, I didn't think anything was going to beat that Lamusa. You guys get a chance to smoke the Lamusa?
No,
yeah, when we did
not last year's.
I have to let y'all have that. That was a delicious cigar, and I didn't think anything would beat that. But then I started smoking the Tirade from Ben. I don't know, man. It just hit my palate right. Really enjoyed that. And dude, I couldn't smoke enough Swarm, bro. I went through a whole box myself. And I think I got like 2 left. I do this thing where I hide stuff from myself, find it like a year later. So,
ooh, what's
I don't know
this?
where the
Ooh,
hell
piece
it
of
is
candy.
before, but I'll find them. I'll find them in a year.
Ooh, piece of candy.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, I think we'll hopefully get back on track. And I'm gonna ask y'all this then too. We touched on it earlier. Do you think we have a trade show this year, whether it's TPE and or PC?
Virtual.
I'm going to say the show coming up, the first show coming up, is going to be canceled. Probably be virtual or shop to shop kind of show. So the cat at Johns Hopkins, I can't think of this guy's name. He's one of the researchers. Says because of the way COVID, where people have had it, merged with the vaccine, he's saying by the end of April, the infection rate's going to drop. It dropped 77% from January to February. We'll see. That could potentially make us a later in the season trade show happen. But
you're seeing some virtual creativity. I think of you guys got a different rep up there, but I always tell them the yin to my yin go to more of my events than I do, and vice versa. Is Ryan Rayford, Central State rep, North Texas, Oklahoma, dear friend, great guy. This guy's had a hell of a year. They had some great success with the virtual events. I had the pleasure to attend one here at 2nd Street, and then one at Omerta, and they're really unique. But then I haven't watched it yet. Again, man, I had the event last night, but dude, I've heard nothing but good things about I've had great smoke a couple years back, but I heard Abe Dubovnik down there, had smoke in down there in Coral Gables, Boynton Beach, all that area. West Palm, those guys killed it, man, from what I heard with the virtual, like a Jay Leno, David Letterman style setting. So if we can see, again, the Kanye creativity flow in this industry, Katie Barr, the door, man, I think we'll have a chance to do that and do what we're doing right now.
Yeah. I mean, we've benefited a little bit from virtual. We've had, some of the other companies are getting some of the blenders out and the faces behind the brands out, and you get an opportunity to interact with them, which is it's a nice experience. You can ask a guy, hey, what were you thinking when you were blending that? That's kind of cool. And you can't necessarily do that when you're one-on-one when there's 500 other people that want that guy's time as well.
Not at the trade show, for sure.
Yeah.
Tough time. Yeah. Knows that. I know that.
I think
Mike knows that.
I think that May of this year is going to be a big turning point as far as what's going on. I'm hoping that the FDA stuff kind of stays clear. Right now, it looks like they're not going to be doing much of anything, but with the change in leadership and everything else that's going on, I'm very nervous that the FDA is going to shift gears again and create a problem to where a lot of this creativity gets sacked really, really hard, and we get pushed back into the Stone Age with it.
You're pretty tuned into that. Let me ask you a question again. I'm so over the bullshit of the year. We'll leave it at that. That I stay informed, but I don't watch the news. I don't care anymore. I really just don't. I've been told, and again, you might know more about this than I do. I apologize. My ignorance, as it were. I believe Merrick Garland, who's very special to Oklahoma City, and I'll leave it at that, very special to us, is going to be AG. Does Judge Maida, who's ruled positively in our court, is he not loosely tied to the Garland courts? Or they had some affiliation or something? Because Judge Maida was...
I don't know the answer.
Where's Jakob when you need him?
Yeah. I don't know the answer to that. I don't know. I know that this is what I do know, man. When Maida finalized that ruling, and this is paraphrasing, and I might do a bad job of it, but when he kind of tacked things down with the FDA, he was real tired of their shit and their shenanigans, and so he wrote a pretty blatant piece. But the capstone of that piece, basically, and the thing that people are missing, everybody's like, oh, we got these big wins. Well, they weren't really wins, because if you really look at this and really read this, the capstone of the piece basically said that the FDA is still in charge, and the FDA can still do pretty much whatever they want. They just got to go about it a different way.
Right.
And they didn't say, you're done being regulated and go back to work and do your thing. And that's the thing that I'm most concerned about. And you're starting to see a lot of this creativity flow. You're starting to see a lot of these new brands coming out. And at the end of the day, it's very possible that in the very near future, somebody's just going to walk in with a big pile of papers and a stack of shit and say, here's a big pile of shit for you to deal with. Enjoy all your new cigars that you just bought yourself, because you're never going to be able to sell them on the open market.
Absolutely. That's some for sure. Go ahead, brother.
One of the things that, if you look at that, what the judge said, he almost gave the FDA guidance on areas where they didn't really have a foundation from where they were standing. So you read that, and it was kind of like, you can't say that. You need to actually define this. And I think people could potentially get themselves into a problem with blends and stuff if it's not a predicate blend or not from a catalog in a factory, where they're going off thinking, woohoo, we won. And really, the FDA now has guidance on this is how we have to approach the court to make this fly.
It's not grandfathered in.
Yeah.
The only thing I worry about, and again, I'll leave this to some of the peers that are probably more informed than this. But I remember like Omar DeFrias from Fratello Cigars, who many of y'all know, a couple of years ago. I think I heard an interview. He might have been on Bear Show with Goof. But he was talking about why he never changed his boxes. We all got our boxes ready, Black Label, Ova Negra, Rum, etc. For Saga. I don't know if Saga did, but like anybody getting ready for the labels, and then we won that battle. But Omar never changed his boxes because he's like, bro, I used to work for NASA, work government, whatever, and they take forever to do anything. And dude, if I'm not mistaken, like the FDA's broke, or at least don't have too many irons in the fire. Probably be better terminology. I don't know, but they got to worry about COVID-19 and other things. So we're probably at the lowest prio list. But at the same time, the FDA had, I believe, this guy was doing a lot of the California regulation, and I apologize if that's incorrect info, but yeah, I don't know, man. I think it's still got to be a couple of years before they even look at it, just because there's too many other things going on now that have to take precedence in the country, man. But outside of us enjoying a fine premium cigar with friends, man, I mean, totally got to be at the bottom of the totem pole. But Gordon's right, though, man. Like, imagine you're a hot new company, man, and you got some great traction, or hell, maybe you're just a small established company that's been around for a few years, really getting your legs in. I mean, the fact of the matter is, dude, they could snap their fingers, you'd be gone overnight because you just don't have, what the hell they say, $250,000 for, approved whatever for a predicate blend or something. Who the hell knows, man? We'll see. I'm thinking positive that maybe 2 to 3 years before we, before we get like the redux. But again, man, that and 50 cents will get me a coffee. So
one good thing did come out of that. One good thing did come out of that. They did not define a cost or a value on what a premium cigar is.
Dude, that is a whole, like, we're very fortunate. Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas. I just spent a week and change in Louisiana, man. Some great shops down there. Of course, you guys, I'm sure, all know Ethan Matthews. What a legend, dude. In our industry from
Little Ethan.
Oh, bro, everybody knows.
He's like 12. He looks like he's like 12.
Dude, bro, that guy's got a mind in this industry of a 40-year-old man, probably more mature than me.
I got a picture of him. I got a picture of him in a high chair. They stick a high. They put him in a high chair in IHOP.
I've seen it. And he's also down at the factory, I think, with David Novin, where he's on the what they call it, teeter-totter. That's pretty good. But dude, like Louisiana's dealing with some pretty insane taxes. Again, I'm from the East Coast, man. God help you if you wanted to smoke a Padron or Liga or Opus X up there. Woo, man, you better enjoy that once a month. But the fact of the matter is, if they defined, let alone New York or North Virginia, all that stuff. But if they define the price, like, how do you define a price on a premium cigar? How's that relative to Oklahoma, to Kansas, to California, to New York? Like, I don't know, man. It just like everything's different. I mean, we're gonna pay a different price for this Soapbox Robusto than you pay for Opus X Double Robusto, or you're gonna pay for a box, a brick house or something, man. Like, how the hell do you define that? You don't know the tobaccos. You don't know what goes into the tobacco. You don't know if it's long filler. You don't know if it's short. That's a whole nother rabbit they have to go down.
I think that's only part of the whole too, man. Because look, there's just between all of that stuff, that part of it, and identifying that for the premium cigar. But no matter what happens, they're going to start instilling what they're calling user fees. Those user fees depend on their market share, apparently, from the biggest companies are going to have a smaller number per cigar that they have to spend. But I mean, the average, from what I'm understanding, the average is going to be like 5 or 6 cents a cigar. So I mean, I don't know how many cigars you guys sold last year, but 5 cents times 100,000 cigars is a whole lot of money.
It adds up, bro. Like I said, thankfully, and God bless, man, we had a hell of a year, dude. We had a great year as a company. I'm excited about 2021. Got, like I said, some great things in the pipeline, as does everybody else, I'm sure. But yeah, you're right, man. Like, I don't know what that, like, for us, and we're on the cut, man. We're like those kids, man, we're like those rising stonks, you know, like the GameStop as it were. But the fact of the matter is, man, you think of some of our most well-established industry peers, the Drew Estates, the Fuentes, the Perdomos, the Padrones, etc. Dude, like, what are those? How many, General Cigar, Alta Cigar, Oliva, how many cigars are those cats making, man? And like, what does that look like? I don't know, man. I don't know, dude. It's gonna be like I said. That's when they open Pandora's box, man. I don't know, man.
Yeah, it's a pretty frightening thing to think about, man. It's something to definitely think about as the industry moves forward. Hopefully, somebody does something to try to alleviate some of this soon, because it's a mess.
See what happens, dude. Like I said, right now, thinking positively, man. It's a great time. 2021's looking like, from our perspective, it's going to be a great year. We can do without the snowstorms and COVID-19 and this and that. And I'm sure there's some great man stories out there somewhere, man. But so far so good, man. And we're just getting into the beginning of the year, man. I mean, we're just, like I said, hyenas around the corner. It'll be Bishop's blend season before you know it. I'm excited for us, and I'm excited for our peers. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens, though, man.
Yeah, man. I think that's it as a whole. We all had a rough year last year, but we all survived that. So we got to just keep that positivity and just keep moving towards the upswing.
Absolutely, came out stronger for it. You really learned a lot about our. Everybody wants to talk about the negatives in this world and in the country and even in our industry. Dude, how many great things did you see with people coming together as far as supporting the shops and unique things and releasing things that weren't supposed to be out? Like even with, I think, Bishop's Blend Lancero or Home 2020, we released those early so the shops could get through a tough month because none of us knew what the hell COVID-19 regulations looked like. But we're all social distancing, trying to do our best, man, because it's all about, you think of from manufacturer to rep to shop owners to managers to employees to great customers. Dude, this is a community unlike any other. And for it to stay that way, we all have to continue to support each other and come together, man. Because if we come apart at the seams and look like this crap that's gone now, man, we're done. And but the great thing is, I know that's not happening in this industry. It's just not. It's too unique.
That could be one of the best ways I've ever heard to wrap a show, man. That you've nailed it, sir. That's the closing argument, sir.
Yeah,
it is. I learned
as well put as you can do it, man.
Man of two words, but what does Teddy say, man? Speak softly, carry a big stick, man. I have the pleasure of being around some of the best, man. I'm with some of them tonight, man. So if I can sit in frame, I'm going to take this Auvergne coffee mug, which keeps it hot to you guys, man. I appreciate y'all. I can't wait to get the hell back up there, man. I'm excited.
Thanks for coming on, Joel. Appreciate you having time with you tonight, man. Yeah, that was really cool.
Back up there, man.
Thank you. And great to see you guys. Hey, anytime we get a Pizza Mike cameo, bro, come on now. Come on now.
No ranch on your pizza.
Hey, I'm coming through, brother.
No ranch on your pizza, homie.
Definitely, brother. For sure.
Well, thanks again, man. We're going to try to get some more of these things going and appreciate you. We'll talk soon about everything else.
Everybody gets to talk cigars and everything, but we never get to just kick, man. So kudos to you guys for doing something unique. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
We got to get pizza home before we do a pumpkin.
Pumpkin pizza. Pumpkin pizza. All right, man, I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to go catch some sleep. I hope you get all rested up from your stuff and everybody's home and safe and dry and warm. And let's get into some of the sunshine. Appreciate y'all.
Absolutely.
Be safe. Take care.
All right,
everybody. Have a good night.